I'm Joyce Hornady. You might say accuracy is my business. I make bullets.
You are listening to the Hornady Podcast.
Thanks for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Hornady Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Swerczek, and today, to my left, General Manager of our Tools Division, Jason Slinkard, and the engineers that work for him and really have done a great job here as of recent. We got Ben Syring, Dylan Hood. Guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
It's one of our favorite times of year internally for a bunch of reasons. Mainly, the weather is turning to be not so bloody hot. And, man, that's a big win. This morning, sharp out. Could see my breath. It's raining.
Fall is in the air.
Fall is in the air. So there's that going on. But what that means for Hornady and a lot of other companies in this industry, that's new product season. And as a consumer of these products and a user of a lot of these products, that's exciting to me. You know, yeah, it's fun to be working in this field, but I also play in this field. Mm-hmm. And so when you see new product season, I just can't help but get excited.
Well, I mean, it's for us, it's the culmination of all our work for the year before, sometimes 2 years, 3 years into a project. So for us, it's huge as far as you're actually seeing the fruits of your labor go out and things you design and built by hand be produced out. I mean, these guys, they busted their butts on these two new products we're going to talk about today.
And before we get there, I want to bring up another product that you guys came out with, and I want to hear, Slink, from you what your vision is for Hornady Reloading, because it's certainly changing, and I'm, just from the outside looking in, I'm seeing more products that are either just now being released or in the pipeline that are really designed for precision, for that high-volume precision reloader. So I'd like to hear, one, your kind of broad level, what you guys are doing to the reloading division, and what that restructuring kind of looks like internally. And then I want to touch on last year's new product, the 3-in-1 case trimmer. There's been some complaints about volume. I want more of them. I've had one on back order for 2 months. Where's it at?
I've got some good news on that.
Yeah,
one,
we need to address that
yeah.
to make the listeners breathe a sigh of relief. But let's get into what the reloading tools is looking like for now and into the future.
When Jason and Steve, they approached me to take the job almost a year ago now. They wanted they're really happy. They're proud. I mean, Hornady was founded with bullets and tools, and when after they bought Specific, they were very proud of it. And they just wanted to take the brand to a whole nother level. I mean, we always make the best quality and everything else, but we want to elevate it and just really look at some things like the classic press hadn't been touched in 10 years. So there's updates in machining that have come along. There's updates to the parts and function and quality to where you can get less than 1,000th run out now in a press all day long as you set up the dies right. So it's really focusing more on what the customer is asking us for is what we're doing a lot. We're spending a lot of times at matches. We're talking to different customers at events. We're talking to our accounts like Shields and Bass and all those good guys, Midways of the world, and they're saying, hey, we would really, really like this. Like, our customers want this. So that's what we're going to deliver. I mean,
beautiful.
That's the key to always understanding is realizing, hey, just because we think it's a great idea don't mean it is.
Yep.
Sometimes the customers have the best ideas, and those are the ones you've got to follow forward with and really just launch and let them lead you. I mean, they're the ones. We do this every day, so sometimes nobody likes their baby be called ugly, but sometimes there's some ugly babies.
There are ugly babies.
So,
it's a thing.
It's one of those
I've
things.
Had them. They came out, they looked like aliens. I was like, what in the heck?
But
they grew up to be handsome young men. But
yeah, a couple of tweaks, though, you make, and all of a sudden that ugly baby becomes one hell of a functional thing.
Yeah, right.
So it's really just getting hands-on and
being innovative, really.
Yeah, nothing leaves until it's been tested thoroughly and everything's made manufacturable, and we're looking at the different parts, and it's the best quality and the tightest tolerances we've ever done.
Beautiful. So let's talk now about that trimmer, because that was a project that was long in the tooth. Slink, you mentioned at the beginning of the show that a lot of these products are in development for a year, 2 years, 3 years. That one took the scenic route to get to the market. But between you, Dylan, and Dylan's predecessor Tyler, the groundwork that was laid there, that trimmer is the best on the market.
It's awesome.
No questions asked.
But,
and obviously I have a little personal pride because I work here, but I've used every trimmer on the market. That's the best one out there right now.
Well, and honestly, we knew it'd be successful. We just had no idea it would be how successful it would be. I guess. Yeah. So we weren't prepped for the parts because everything on that trimmer is made here with the exception of the motor.
Right.
So we weren't, like right now, my mills are running 7 days a week almost just on trimmer parts.
Wow.
And now they're converting over to new parts for the new products. But you'll see consistently coming out of our plant between 250 and 300 trimmer units a month moving forward. We've already gotten 427 of them out this month.
Wow. Okay. So the commitment has been made, and I'm sure there's a bunch of red tape.
Well, I should say last month. We got 427.
Yeah, because it's just now rolling
just
over in
turned
October.
over.
But it's one of those deals. I'm sure there was red tape with either tariffs or a vendor or getting things anodized or whatever. That has now been satisfied.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
we've accounted for that, and we just decided I increased all our safety stock levels on the parts, so we're building more parts than we ever have, and I don't mind setting on them to make sure that we could serve our customers better because I realized that was kind of a black eye. And that's why on all the new stuff we're talking about here, you'll see them in stock in January. We're going to have, I've already got it prepped. The stuff's on order. The guys are already cutting parts.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, that trimmer, like I said, I know there was more people that wanted it than there were trimmers available, which is neat to have some back order. But, man, Dylan, I was beating you up often.
All the time. Yep.
Yeah, it's like I kind of need a few of these for this, that, and the other person. Kind of need some. What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
We've made big strides. I mean, just because of the demand of that. We looked into everything, not just running, like he said, 7 days a week. Okay, where can we have versatility? So improvement in fixturing, improvement in clamping, what machines these can run at, horizontals, vertical mills. I mean, we're looking at everything to get that job done.
Like it.
Yeah.
So listener out there, trimmers are available, and you're going to see
You'll
250 to 300 a month coming out of our plant, which is fantastic. All right, now let's get into 2026 because new products moving forward, that's the exciting part. Not that the trimmer's not exciting, and not that Slink Your Vision for the department isn't exciting either, but we've got some pretty darn cool products here, and I think the listener, the consumer of the product is going to see that gradual, not shift, but focus on, okay, who is spending money on reloading? And gosh, it seems to be the people that are trying to increase the precision of their system and also do it really fast and high volumes.
Correct.
So what you're going to see here is kind of a focus on that. Let's first talk about the Lock and Load Classic Pro. Now, these kind of O-frame style presses, there's nothing new there. There's nothing new under the sun anyway, but this style of press, gosh, every manufacturer's got one, and they'll outlive you.
Yeah.
So there was
100%.
There has to be ways to improve it, though, and that's what you guys found. So I'd like to, Lock and Load Classic, one of our staples, is still available in its original
Lock
form.
and Load's not going to go anywhere. We just wanted, for the guy that's wanting accuracy and demanding it right out of the box, we wanted a next stage up.
Mm-hmm.
And this was Dylan's project, and I'll let him talk about it, but it was amazing the tolerances and everything he was able to achieve.
Yeah. So, Dylan, if you would kind of juxtapose the original Lock and Load Classic to the Lock and Load Classic Pro and how you identified, hey, there's room for improvement in this place, in this place, in this place, and then what this product actually looks like.
Absolutely. So, fundamentally, an O-style press has made some of the greatest ammo ever, and they still will. But what we wanted to do was tighten things up a little bit.
Okay.
Make it biased toward the guy who's going to be running those long volume, high accuracy loads.
Mm-hmm.
And we did. We listened to the customer, and what we decided to do was just clean things up a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I say that,
Yeah, it wasn't really a little bit. There's 19 changes.
I was going to say there's a bunch of
When
them.
I look at this and I look at everybody else's O-style press, I see cast parts. And cast doesn't always scream nuts on precision to me, kind of.
Oh, yeah. Most castings, when they come in, depending on the actual cast itself, is a plus or minus 40 thou on the tolerance you get.
Okay.
So what a lot of guys will do is they undersize certain components and oversize other components to make sure it always fits.
Yep, stack it up.
Same thing. So linkages here, and then the toggle. there was quite a bit of slop in the frame.
And that was
overall.
you
By
had
design.
to design it that
Yeah, by
way.
design.
You did.
Otherwise, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of parts that you would have to hand fit. And, we're trying to
Absolutely.
build Glock 17s with the Lock and Load Classic, not necessarily hand fit 1911s.
Bingo.
Kind of an analogy there.
Mhm. And so we also decided to include bushings. So bushings are becoming more and more of a thing nowadays. We see that across the board in all sorts of reloading companies. And then we added room for a grease zerk.
Okay.
We also added, in combination with bushings and the linkage pins, we machined flats on both the toggle and the frame. So what that means is we can now, instead of having that plus or minus 40 thou, we've eliminated it by having a machined reference surface on each unit.
Okay.
And we're doing it in the same operation as we would drilling the holes. So everything is lined up, everything is concentric.
And then you're putting on either side, so they're parallel.
Yep,
Yeah.
putting it on either side. And then we have a torque spec down. So instead of a typical E-clip and a pin, now you're looking at bolts, essentially.
That's fantastic. So that power pack linkage and the toggle, the way those go together on a Lock and Load Classic,
Mm-hmm.
and then virtually every other press out there, you have a pin going through the hole
Yep.
with generally a wave washer or something to take up space.
Yes.
Because you have all those tolerance stacks.
Yep.
So you have to put something in there, and that works really well. You can make great ammunition,
yeah.
really accurate ammunition on there. You removed the wave washers.
Yep.
You've got brass bushings, and that your pin goes right through there with a bolt, essentially, and that removed. I'm just feeling the difference. Boy,
Yeah,
A lot.
The slop is
Yeah, it's-
the slop
It's
is
like
gone.
80% of the slop's gone.
Yep.
Maybe even higher than that.
yeah.
I would venture to say higher.
There's no better time to stock your reloading bench and light up your range. With Hornady Get Loaded Plus. New this year, free bullets or free cases when you buy these select Hornady reloading tools. Plus, receive the free hit target impact indicator. Hornady Get Loaded Plus. Free bullets, free cases, free hit target impact indicator. Get loaded and light it up with Hornady Get Loaded Plus. Limitations apply. Visit Hornady.com/getloaded2025 for further details.
The funny thing is this comes from something that I learned from Slink. He calls it duct tape.
Yeah.
Look for duct tape. What do you see out there that people are doing? Because if you're seeing it, there might be something there, right?
That you guys can fix from an engineering standpoint.
I had a friend with a Classic, and I looked at it. I was like, "Where's the pins?" He said, "I got rid of them. It was too sloppy. I put bolts in there," and he just literally had a bolt through it with a nut.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought,
And if you keep it greased up, I'm sure that operates just fine.
exactly. So I mean, the bolt idea come from the duct tape.
Yep.
Look for that. Look for that. How can we improve things? Machine surfaces.
Yep.
It just made sense. That's
Yep.
how we can tighten things up. We have the ability now. Maybe I don't know how many years ago, but we already went through with some more modern castings for this. So the tolerances are there even better on the castings. And everything just come together.
It did.
Don't put a grease zerk in a hole without a ring. So we added a ring to the inside of there, so there's a spot for the grease to go.
Yep.
It's just
That's a little
impressive.
feature that two things. Number one, if you go downstairs in our accuracy lab,
Mm-hmm.
those presses, I don't even want to know how many times that handle's been stroked. It is incredible. That service life of those two presses down there is, they've paid their
wild.
dues. And during the COVID craziness, is all hands on deck, right? And orders were through the roof. So I spent time down in there whenever I had free time shooting bullets for accuracy. And you'd have to lube that ram pretty regularly because you get, graphite or powder residue and primer residue from all that. And it would just build up and it wasn't smooth. So you'd have to tear it apart, lube it up, put it back together. So having a way to lubricate that is huge. And the number two thing I was going to bring it up was there are presses out there that have grease zerks that are just pressed in.
Correct.
And then if you put a grease gun on there, which builds up huge amounts of pressure, just pops the grease zerk out.
Yeah.
So taking the stainless steel ram and machining a groove in there for the lubricant to actually have a place and then you have kind of a self-lubricating system. Once it goes up and down through there, it's going to pick up what it needs.
Yep.
And the Zerk is threaded in, not pressed in.
Yep.
We did thread it.
Yeah, little things like that.
We did that because we don't ever want that consumer saying, "Oh, I popped the grease zerk out." Well, one, it's got a grease ring, so you're not going to. But two, it's threaded to where
it's
that's not going to
out.
be an issue either.
And if you pop one out, you can put another one back in there, but it's not going to stay.
No, not when it's just been pressure fit.
And I would imagine with big, just because I'm a nerdy engineer, with the size of the ring we put in there and the grease we put in it, you're going to grease it once and probably not need to do it for another 5 years.
Yeah. So between the grease zerk there and then the kind of self-lubricating brass bushings, when you start pulling the handle on this thing, not just a few times, you grab the handle and pull it a few times, you're going to feel, wow,
it's
this thing is
difference.
tight and buttery smooth. You go to sit down and load 400 rounds of ammunition, you're going to find that it's continually smooth.
And one of the goals of this press when we came out with it, and what I told those guys when we were updating, I was like, guys, there's presses out in the market right now that cost $1,400, and they tout less than $1,000 in difference. Well, as long as you do your job and set your dies up right. I want to give our consumers a value that will last them a lifetime that they could spend $250 on, and it will do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yes, it
and
will.
last a lifetime.
Yep.
Yeah.
That really is. And you mentioned, setting your dies up right. So when you have, the Hornady custom grade dies, just the standard custom grade dies, not our match grade stuff, but that's just another enhancement. But our standard custom grade dies, they all have that floating alignment collar in the seating die. You couple that up with a press like this, and you've got a really affordable way to get match grade precision. Our bench rest team uses Johnny Potrat's, our most decorated bench rest shooter, custom grade, new dimension, off the shelf dies, no problem.
With a classic press.
Absolutely. So it is definitely capable of extreme precision, and these are all enhancements. Now, the other enhancement that I see up top here is more of a ergonomic thing. Normally you have that flat spot right on the top of the press. You've included a little caddy up here.
Sure did. So
you're a golfer.
I am. Oh yeah, obviously. No, I'm a big fan of built-in storage.
Yeah.
And what was at one time wasted space is now a place to put dies, a place to put your powder measure if you want it, and a place to put 2 Allen wrenches.
Yep.
And
perfect.
As every reloader knows, you lose Allen wrenches like they're going out of style.
Especially those ones. I'm glad Hornady includes one with every set of dies because I need one with every set of dies.
Yeah.
And I've also drilled holes in places on the press to store these things.
Oh yeah, a lot of guys do.
That was the duct tape. Believe it or not, we seen that in the lab.
Yeah.
We seen it in the lab. They drilled holes in their press. I'm like,
let's
just add it. Let's put a spot
for it.
Yep. So this is really simple, just an L-shaped piece of, I'm guessing, aluminum?
No, it's steel.
Okay, so steel, obviously that's not going anywhere. It's got 2 spots.
And we did the steel on purpose because a lot of the other presses will come with aluminum, and they'll expect you to run your powder measure off of it. And those volumetrics are very sensitive to impact and everything. So they're sitting there flopping on the aluminum the whole time.
Yep.
We switched it to steel, then there's no movement. It's solid on the so you're able to get your consistent powder throw with a volumetric.
Yeah, and Dylan took special care to make sure that was out of the way. To put your, I like to trickle up, but I could put the volumetric there. It's just perfect. I sit off to the side a little bit. I get my hand in there. The press is not in the way. Boom, in my case, and then I can trickle up to write what I want.
Well, Dylan mentioned the storage thing and being self-contained. There's not. We've got a reloading bench behind us in the studio, 12 foot long, and then like probably 6 or 7 foot long on one side. You got this huge space, and there's I would say the hefty majority of reloaders, you don't have that kind of space. So having things that the form factor just plain fits. It's those little things that make things nice, and being able to put your powder measure on there up on top. It's easy. It's convenient. And, for guys like myself, I do a lot straight out of the powder measure, especially with these new spherical powders like Stay Ball Match.
Oh, totally.
That Varget type alternative. Man, you can throw that stuff meters like melted butter through the powder measure.
I was running through our auto charge the other day when I was loading up ammo for a match. The stuff meters well.
Yeah, it's super convenient. So having that kind of storage right there works great. And the same classic bolt pattern that we've always had.
Yep.
So this is really that Lock and Load Classic Pro. It's just that next level. It just you get quality, you get assembly, you get the engineering behind it. That again just elevates it from the original Lock and Load Classic.
It's great when you're working up a load as well. You've got your full length die right there, your cedar here. Oh, we got to go back to full length sizing for the next 5.
Yep.
Just boom, boom, and they're right there. It's really handy.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Now, a couple other things. I'm looking at 2 primer cedar arms, and by God, they're laser engraved, small and large. Is that going to be a thing? Because historically, Lock and Load Classics, you got one arm, and you had to depress this.
Yeah,
spin
that was
it on
another
there.
thing we got
Right.
from the consumers. They hated having to switch it out. So now you get a small and large. But there's something important about these that I'll let Dylan talk about that's different than the
Okay.
normal press.
Yep.
So for a very long time, we created shell holders that were a little bit different than everyone else's. But what would happen is the way that our primer arms would interface with our shell holder specifically while priming, it would occasionally be not ideal to prime.
Would be
You had
hard
to
to
make sure-
find center.
You got to make sure you center.
You had to make sure you centered it.
So
right?
what I would always do, because I've loaded a lot on a Classic, put the case in, present the primer, wiggle the case,
Yep.
and then wiggle, like if you're in a manual shift transmission, you find neutral.
Oh, yeah.
I'd wiggle it like I was finding neutral, and you'd feel it.
Oh, you feel it, and then it'd
Yeah.
seat
They
fine.
go right in.
Yep,
But we wanted to eliminate that because that's a
Yep.
pain.
that is.
So what we did was we came out with new cups.
Okay.
And when I
So-
say cups,
Yep.
the actual component that holds the primer on the arm. So what we did was those are now a tighter tolerance with our shell holders. And what that means is it is going to sit concentric to that primer pocket every time.
Yeah, there's no more shuffling. There's no more. You just pop it in.
You don't have to find
It
new
self-centers
It's there.
everything else.
Yeah.
Now, something important, though, because we still have customers that want to use, I don't know why, but they want to use other die sets and shell holders. We're still including the pause, so you could switch back and forth.
Okay.
But it's going to come ready with 2 arms for large and small.
Beautiful.
With the Hornady
With the
cups, and
Hornady,
like he
absolutely.
said, we'll include the old Classic cups. Will still be there for you to swap out should you have a shell holder
Yeah.
that's not a Hornady shell holder.
Yep. Simple. And those shell holders, again, those are hardened tools still. They're going to last.
Oh, yeah, they'll
forever.
last
Oh,
you
yeah.
forever.
So if you've got
For
a
sure.
bunch of RCBS or other brands,
Yeah.
you can just
we're not
swap over
asking you
cups.
to convert. We're giving you
Right.
everything you need, but if you're using ours, these will work flawless.
So, full disclosure, statute of limitations is up. When I was in tech services, answering the phone, helping customers out, I was reloading a ton, and I had a large and a small shell hole or a primer arm set up. And if I was on a call with a customer, this happened many, many times, and that may or may not have had anything to do with those primer arms, but we was talking about maybe setting up a die or what seating stem do I need for this bullet or whatever. And he mentioned, the pain of having to
Change
those over. If I was sending him something else, say a zip spindle for a die or a warranty part or whatever, he's getting another primer
He's
on
setting
because
another arm.
I've lived
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if that's petty theft from the company or not, but it was one of those deals where we were already paying shipping to send it to him. It's nothing
for sure.
hard,
It's
and it
what-
made his life
It
better.
makes reloading easier whenever you can just switch it quickly.
And we attempted to think of everything. We even the RAM was modified to help those cups center up. So I mean, we tried to think of everything, and I'm sure there's things we missed, but we tried to get everything in there that we could for this Pro Press.
I love it. Well, it's definitely an elevated version. It's definitely one that's going to be on my bench here in the very near future. I'm
Yep,
putting
mine
together
too.
a new gun room
Are you?
/ reloading room. Oh, yeah. It's going to be square lock all the way around, big vault door, and I'll probably not reload a whole lot in there. But it's going to be set up because my kids are just now getting to the age where they should be helping me in the reloading room, or as punishment, they should be sizing a 5-gallon bucket full of 223 brass.
No, I agree.
Bingo.
If they get in
Yep.
trouble or anything.
Well, we know
like
a guy.
that.
We'll make sure you get
Yeah.
one.
So
yeah, for sure.
Dylan, team, well done on the Lock and Load Classic Pro. You're going to be able to see these on the shelf shipping right in 2026.
Yep.
So that's a great commitment.
Hornady V-Match Ammunition. loaded exclusively with Hornady ELD VT bullets. The low drag design of the ELD VT bullets provide high velocity retention and minimal wind deflection. Initial offerings include 22 arc, 6 arc, 6mm Creedmoor, 6.5 Grendel, and 6.5 Creedmoor. Elevate your varmint shooting experience, shatter records, and make your mark like never before with V-Match ammunition from Hornady.
I'm going to move on now to the drum roll,
Oh,
please.
yeah.
The big one. This new tool is brand new. You've never seen anything like this from Hornady, and it is one of the fastest, I think one of the safest, if not the safest and fastest press on the market for priming. I say press because it feels like it's a priming press rather than just a priming tool. Now, there's a bunch of priming tools on the market geared towards those really, I'm going to call them those accuracy enthusiasts, the bench rest guys, the PRS guys, just the varmint hunter, just the hunter in general. I think the average reloader is really after supreme consistency at all levels. And this priming tool, the VersaPrime, delivers in every category: speed, precision, reliability. You're not going to run this thing dry and end up with powder coming out because you didn't miss a primer. This thing looks good on the bench. The form factor is great. The ergonomics are great. Talk to us about the VersaPrime.
Yeah, I think we really knocked it out of the park on this. This is Ben's project, and Dylan helped him out with it. But he did a great job knocking it out of the park, because what we wanted was, and it's not just the precision guy right now. There's a couple of things in reloading, let's be honest, that it's a job.
Yeah.
Brass prep is a job.
Yeah.
Cleaning it is a job. And priming can be a job, because you're either sitting there with a hand primer or you're doing it on press. And especially for the guys that are doing prairie dogging and things like that, the varmint crowd. I mean, when you're loading a 500 rounds, it takes on. Doing a hand primer takes a lot. So what we wanted was a system that was the safest and most versatile, because everybody likes kind of reloading their own way. They like their own setups. So Ben did a really good job, and I'll let him go in it and talk about how you can set this thing up literally any way you want to make your reloading better. And switch out is so fast, it's not even funny. Ben, take it away, brother.
Well, we all have seen what's out there on the market, what's there, what's not. We wanted something that would do the job as well as the $700 guys and the $600 guys and the $200 guys or the $100 guys, and we knew that we could get it done. We started with all kinds of things. Some of them got big, some of them got bulky, and we just kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. I wanted it easy to change between small and large. So with a pin, you can pull a pin, swap out small and large, swap out your punch, and it's literally less than 5 minutes, probably a minute.
I was going to say
you're
probably
going.
a minute.
Yeah, once you've done it a couple times.
It takes you longer to get all the parts.
I was going to say,
it takes you longer to pick up the primers. It
go.
comes with the primer pickup tubes, 100 primers. I said we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Our AP press has a great primer protective shroud with that, so we're going to incorporate the way the AP holds primers, and then we're just going to modify the feed mechanism so it's literally a disc. It's got detents that snap you in every time as you snap. The primer's on center. Pull the handle. We can set this however we want. I can go right-handed. I can go left-handed. I can set it off the table. I can put it on the table wherever I want to position this for my comfort. We made it switchable so you can go clockwise, counterclockwise. You can move the tube to one side or another. It is literally, I think, the most versatile tool. I wanted a stop. Not everybody wants a stop, so you can move the stop all the way down and go by feel. You can adjust the stop to make it stop every time at the same distance. I
think a huge point is, so the stop that Ben's referencing is the depth that the primer is seated, and that is a mechanical stop.
Correct.
That's steel. When you press down, it goes no further.
Yeah, it's a hard steel on steel, and that's the only way to really truly ensure that you're the same every single time.
And I think that's something that precision crowd, I know the old school varmint guys, obviously the bench rest crowd, and even now like the PRS crowd, They want consistency at every level. Whether that means any tangible result or not is irrelevant. They want the same.
Yep.
And if you set this thing to go 3 thou below flush, it puts that primer 3 thou below flush.
Yeah. And, you can, we use the idea of a lever, but we added a cam to that lever. So we get the mechanical advantage as well, like you mentioned, to press.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a lever pushing it in there. I've got a cam rolling with it on a plunger that seats it the same way every time.
Yeah, so it doesn't take hardly any.
When you push this down, it's buttery smooth. And
Mm-hmm.
when you start seating a primer with it, it's effortless.
Yeah, when we did rep training, half of them didn't realize they'd already seated a primer.
Yeah. Yep.
When they were doing it, just because it was so easy. They didn't have. They're used to that tension.
Yep.
And
For sure.
And you still have some tension, but it's nothing like
Yeah.
you're used to.
Another great feature, Hornady shell holders.
Yep.
You probably already own them. You don't need to buy anything else. We've got inserts that go in the Hornady shell holder as a result of learning how to get the primers centered.
Yep.
And it's just funny when you're working on project how things come together. And that was one of the things that came together with the
I
Classic
think they
Pro.
call that synergy.
Yeah, there you go.
Very corporate buzzword.
So yeah, it is. I don't know what else I can say about it. We had a lot of ideas. We pounded it through there. We also left on. That was a vision that Mr. Slinkard had seen. He said, "No, we're not going to put any red on it." What?
That's Hornady Red. That's what we do.
Yeah,
I was
what do you
going
mean
to
we're
bring
not?
that up.
Well,
So,
and the
for
reason we
viewer-
did it that way is
Yeah,
this is important. I want the consumer to know we're not hiding anything. This is 100% solid billet, machined, taken right off the machine. There is not a single quality piece cut. Everything is done. What I should have said is there's no single quality piece corner cut. Everything is done the highest quality standards. I am not hiding anything. Like a lot of companies will hide stuff with finish.
Yeah.
They'll hide, we had a bunch of extra tooling marks here, or the finish. We're not doing any of that. We're showing you 100% that when you buy this, you are getting the top quality primer that will last you forever. I mean, we thought about everything you can.
yeah.
It's got our Hornady H lasered on the front of it. You can set it up however you want to, but we wanted to come up with the best priming and the safest primer on the market.
Let's talk about the safety aspect because that's a big one. I think
it's huge.
everybody who's ever used the hand priming tool,
I'm going to say any hand priming tool.
This is just the idea of a hand priming tool as a whole is convenient, I suppose. But I've seen what happens with those if you double stack a primer and try to force it home. And priming on the press, that can be a little bit arduous. So you take it off the press. How do you verify? How do you not guarantee, but how do you do your best to say if there is a detonation, if you got a crimped primer pocket you didn't think about, and you try to bury that thing home and you detonate that primer, what's to stop that from setting off the 99
the beautiful
above it?
thing in Ben's design is so you have a primer that's in the feed, one primer here and one primer here that's in the disc set up here.
Yep.
I'll pull out the disc. That's how easy it is to change, by the way. So you've only got two primers that are actually unexposed out of the stack, and they are underneath almost a half inch of solid billet and a full, what has that been, like 3.5 inches solid billet below it?
Yeah, about 3 inches, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 by 3.
So once you do that, then you have the one that's exposed.
Yep.
And the tolerances are so tight in between that even if you do get it to spark off, it's not going to chain react back to here.
Yeah, because if you light this tube up, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and in that disc, each primer is supported. They can't fall through that disc. There's actually a step in there, so each primer is flush with the top of that disc. So when I roll it over, I got a primer here, I got a primer there, and my stack is here. So once my punch starts to come up, which is where a detonation could happen on a pierced primer, it's pushed that primer away up to the case now. So now I've got the aluminum piece in my shell holder sizing it up, keeping that from getting over to the next primer, and the blast. Not to mention the same steel shroud that we run on the AP press in case there was a detonation. Mm-hmm. So we really were directed and thought about how tight we wanted this. And coming from a tool maker background is how this culminated. Now, I did have to give up some of my, in the tool maker world, a tenth is where you want to be, 0.0001. Well, we've got to do these mass production. We can't do
Right.
these one-off. So, but the tolerances are very tight. Like you said, these go right from the machine to assembly. There's no middle ops. We're not bead blasting anything. You're going to see the mill marks. You're going to see the tooling marks. You're going to create your own character with it as you run it. You can set it up. So I seeded 100 primers last Friday with it. And I changed how I originally wanted to run it just to make it more efficient for me. I moved the tube to the other side and I pushed the wheel rather than pull the wheel with my hand. So there's so many different ways that you can actually run this tool.
And the detent on that wheel is really nice. Like there's no mistake when you turn that thing over.
Great.
It snaps
and
right in.
once you get into the, like if I was going to set it up like this, I think I would want to pull, press.
Yeah, that's how I run it.
Press, pull, press. And you can really get into a
Right.
good system. But if you wanted to push that wheel, you swap that over.
And I was doing exactly that, Seth. That's how I designed to run it, like pull, press, pull, press. But I realized the tube on that side, because I don't want the primers to come around the back. I want one primer in, not all the way around. The tube, because I wanted to do two-handed, so the tube was in my way trying to put a primer in there.
Oh.
So I moved the tube over, left the handle on the right-hand side. I could grab a case, slide it in, cycle, let go, press, pull that out with this hand, grab to the next one, and I was able to just flow.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Zen reloading.
Yeah.
Yep.
well, and again, it's so versatile, and that even it was my design, and I even surprised me. Like,
Yeah, the
oh,
teacher became the
gosh.
student, became the teacher.
Yeah, gosh, this is good. And we started this out with we each had our own vision.
We did.
Yeah, Dylan and Ben,
And then
you guys came up with separate
Oh, yeah.
designs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, it was a cool
separate.
project. I made them both come up with something different, and then they married their two designs to
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
It's
so
been
I,
awesome.
and little things like socket-headed cap screws. We'll just do this, and then Dylan and one of the other fellows we work with said, well, let's just go to button-head cap screws. Okay. All right. Let's make them all adjustable with an 1/8-inch Allen wrench. So everything on that tool that a consumer would need to do is 1/8 inch.
Yeah.
8th inch.
Just that simple.
Little-
And we're going to
little
throw the
stuff.
1/8 inch
Shout out to
Allen wrench in.
Luke.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, we've thought about everything. We're gonna throw the primer plate in there. The turning
turning plate. I knew.
so that you can use your tubes. If you
Yep.
happen to have a Hornady 1911, it's the same tube filling system
Yep.
as an AP if you're familiar with it.
And then you
However
can have
wanna get
those
the tubes.
preloaded,
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yep,
Oh,
And-
bingo.
100 at a time. And this little thing has been the bane of my existence. This is your primer follower.
Yes.
As you see, if you were watching this podcast, you would see that before we started, Slink took this out because I can't tell you how many times when we were developing this tool, this was in the primer tube, and I'm like, something's wrong. It won't roll. Because when you run out of primers,
It blocks.
this
It's
is going
caught.
to lock you from turning that wheel.
Yep.
Right? In fact, when you're loading 100, your 99th one it'll lock. You lift this up so you can get your last one because that last one's in that staging step I was telling you about. But I can't
Yep.
tell you how many times I pulled on this, and he's got to come over and pull it out and hit me in the head with it because I forget that it locks it down. So sometimes the result of what we designed, there were some benefits of what we designed that we didn't even
Foresee.
foresee. That
Yep.
Thank you for the word. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was cool. It's
What-
really cool. I'm excited about this
and
product.
then just simple stuff like the mounting. It's the same hole pattern
As a press,
as our standard
Yeah.
classic, and at the same time we put it so you only really need 2 bolts. So if you just want to run it off the side, put 2 on there, and you're going to be solid.
yeah,
So it's like I said, it's just the most versatile thing on the market.
Yep.
And then this thing's going to retail for $299.
That's
Yep.
the big one.
I was going to
That's
say
gonna be
that's a
huge.
kicker.
that's the thing. As I was saying, as I started this conversation out, we knew where the high end ones were.
Yep.
But this, as high end as those, we're not covering anything, and we're half the price, significantly.
Well,
There's-
actually, there's no corners cut. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we did it this way. I mean, there's no way you could see a corner.
And you're
cut
going
on
to get
that
it in the box. We'll assemble the block portion, but you're going to get it in the box without the handle on it, without the eclipse in it, without the pins, without this, so that you can think about how you want to set it
Yeah.
up the first time.
Right. Because that is huge in the market. There's one particular that I'm thinking about that nearly most of my compadres in the industry that are in the
Have.
precision rifle
Yep.
space, they have and they use it. Form factor's a little bigger than this. great unit.
Amazing.
More than double the price. It looks good. It functions really well, but you don't have the versatility like this one has to.
Yep.
You use that one this way.
Mm-hmm.
With the VersaPrime tool. If you want it left, right, sideways, angled, whatever works on your bench, whatever works for your flow, you can set it up that way, and you still get absolute precision. You get the quality.
Yeah.
It's going to last you a lifetime. Easy changeovers and safe.
And we
Yeah,
took
it's
all
100%
those.
solid.
Yeah, we took all those into play when we designed the feeding system as well. I wanted feed go. I didn't want to have to pull the handle twice to get a primer picked up.
Mhm.
I wanted in the same operation to be able to just feed that primer, so I didn't have to move a lever. It's a rotating dial. I mean, I don't know. We're pretty excited about this tool, and because we're foreseeing based on the trimmer, we're making adjustments in the shop to make sure that we get these on the shelf for you too.
Yeah.
So
come January, I suspect these to be snatched up in a hurry, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are in the precision space, but they dabble, and it's hard to drop $700 when you're dabbling. It's much more palatable to drop half of that.
This tool, I just feel like was really well thought out, right down to we were having an issue like, all right, what's going to happen? And we jammed it. Had an operator on the floor said, well, put a magnet in the base so it pulls that down. Let's think about that. Okay. And it fixed the problem just like that. So everybody thinking about this thing and everybody's idea going into it, I think just made for a great product. Really
and that's one of the things we're doing now a lot with any new product is we literally hand it to everybody and then say, okay, break it.
Yep.
Figure out how you're going to jam it, how you're going to break it.
That's like giving
and then I
a
come
new
back
machine
and go,
gun to the Marine Corps.
Fix it.
Oh,
fix
yeah.
it.
Right. And I scratched my head going, well, how did you break it? It was perfect. No, it wasn't, because we broke it.
Yep.
All right. But there's a lot of people's ideas in this tool. Dylan's, mine, Jason, another gentleman on the floor told us about this. His name's Dan, taught us about it. Right down to our assistant manager out there helping us get it machined quicker. We got another gentleman just working only on the machining of this, the programming. How do we get this machined with tooling, with machines, with people kind of like Joyce Hornady's,
with material.
Exactly.
Tenth of a grain and a tenth of an inch at a time.
Exactly. So it was, I'm pretty proud of this tool. Sometimes I don't show it as much, but we're all very proud of this tool.
Yeah.
And I think it'll do real well, or
Yeah,
I know it'll do real
priming
well.
goes, it's a game changer.
It gets
It is
no
a
better.
game changer.
Yeah.
Everybody we've showed it to behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
The only question is, when can I have it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the trimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a rhythm going, and I'm venture to say 5 minutes for 100.
Wow.
If you can get them getting in there.
Oh yeah, it's fast.
You can make them roll if you get your rhythm going. So
I like it.
The Hornady Rapid Safe Keypad Vault offers quick, dependable access to your firearm while providing security from unauthorized users. The Rapid Safe Keypad Vault is constructed of a heavy-duty 14-gauge steel housing and thick steel lid for tamper-proof security. The included RFID watch band tag and RFID decal can be selectively programmed to open this safe and any other Rapid Safe you own. The Rapid Safe Keypad Vault from Hornady Security.
You've definitely seen, the consumer has seen a focus on the precision, a focus on the quality between last year's trimmer, the priming tool, the Lock and Load Classic Pro, and I'm not going to go into anything, and I don't expect you to either, but suffice it to say, for the consumer, for the viewer here, there are other products in the pipeline over
100%.
the next 1 to 3, 5 years, whatever it is, that you're going to see absolute continued innovation that's going to make your reloading process better,
100%.
easier, faster, more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Well, there's a shameless plug that I'm not sure where to put this in the podcast that we're having, or the podcasts that we're having, because during new product season, we release a bunch of new product podcasts. I'm going to put it in this one, and that is the 12th edition of the
Mm.
Hornady Handbook Cartridge Reloading.
Yep.
You bet.
Huge project. I'm already looking forward to the 13th edition because I think that's going to be the best one we ever make. News 11, this just in, I've never edited a book or a reloading manual. So let's just say it was a learning experience for me, but I'm really proud of the 12th edition and how it came out. And we've made some significant changes just with the layout, with some of the information displayed in the first 150 pages or so. Updated the look of the book like you wouldn't believe. When you open the manual and you look at some load data, you're going to see a picture of a cartridge case diagram or a picture of a bullet that is a 3D rendering. They look like real bullets and real cartridge cases. It just really enhanced the look.
That's awesome.
Aesthetically, obviously, fonts and photos and that kind of stuff. But more importantly, the reason for the manual, the data. We went wild with reloading data. Now, yes, you have the obligatory new cartridges, new bullets, and you're going to see a lot of that in the 12th edition, the 400 Legend, the 22 Creedmoor, the 22 ARC, 338 ARC. I mean, there's a bunch of new cartridges in there. New propellants, the Stayball line from Winchester, that's you can reliably find that on the shelf all the time. So Stayball Match, Stayball 6.5, Stayball HD. We went through great pains to put those powders, where applicable, in darn near every cartridge that we could. But the data that you're going to see that you might not notice right away is Todd Connect. He devoted, I don't know how many months, a year, to just reshooting existing data.
Correct.
And, over time you get the, kind of burn rate migration of propellants. You have powders that aren't available anymore or weren't available at the time. Different barrels, different pressure reading equipment. So you're going to see some data that is as good as we've ever had throughout the entire manual. I mean, he was shooting stuff that hadn't been shot in decades. So you buy the 12th edition, you're getting probably, I would say, the outside of maybe the first one or two editions, you're getting the best edition we've ever made.
Yeah.
It is the most up to date,
Yeah, I
the
don't doubt
most
that.
inclusive.
You keep talking, Seth, and, as an old man, I actually like, this is odd because old men don't like reloading apps, but I've always loved the reloading app. But now the way you're toting this book,
Yeah.
I might have to get the
You better
book.
have one of each.
Yeah,
App and
because
the
I've
book
got the app and I love it because I get the data
right
as
away.
soon as it's published right away. I don't
Yep.
have to buy the manual, but now you've got me thinking, all right, let's go back old school. Let's get a manual.
You know a guy. I'll get you a book.
Get us hooked up. Get us hooked up.
But the app, it's another good point, Ben. It is available in the app form. And as I'm getting new data developed for the 13th edition, I will put it in the app. And if you're a subscriber, you get access to that.
Right.
And that's what I love. That's what I love. Yeah.
So it was a labor of love. I sure learned a lot about the reloading manual and how to edit that book. And Todd and Matt George down in our lab did a phenomenal job with data collection. My good friends at Idea Bank that helped me out bring that product to life did a great job. And for the consumer, I do want to mention the data collection process is as scientific as we can possibly get it. And there's some questions, some data we shot for the 7PRC, for example. We reshot the data, and it came out a little lower than what was previously listed. And that's not only one example, but the examples can be found all throughout the book. We now order in a pressure and velocity barrel, and we can tell that barrel manufacturer bore and groove diameter, and they can hold bore and groove diameter. When you order a min spec bore and groove diameter, that thing comes in.
That's what you're getting.
With almost no tolerance. Those things are perfect. Then you order a chamber reamer, and if we're going to use it to establish safe pressure, I want the minimum chamber dimensions that we could possibly get. Reamer manufacturers today, my goodness, you order that spec, it arrives that spec. So the ability of a barrel manufacturer and a reamer manufacturer to produce products that are absolute minimum specification has certainly enhanced over the last few years. So now we've got this pressure barrel cut with a min-spec chamber, and the piezoelectric pressure reading system that we have, the transducers, those are only getting better with time. So we are giving you data, not lawyer loads. None of this has been reduced by 5%. The pressure limit 62,500, let's say. We run it up to 62.5, and that's what gets printed. But know that is established in the shortest throat, the smallest throat diameter that we can get with the smallest and tightest bore and groove dimensions that SAMI spec allows. And I just wanted to put that out there, that if you're seeing data that you think is conservative, just know we've done everything possible from a manufacturing standpoint to establish that data in min-spec conditions. Right. Because the chances that you go buy a rifle off the shelf that's min-spec, not real good.
No.
So generally they're somewhere in the middle. And so just wanted to put that out there for the
That's a good point.
Absolutely.
Anything else, guys, on the tools, on the manual, what the future looks like for Hornady reloading?
Did you guys play with barrel length at all? Did you make any changes while you guys were redoing the book?
We generally stick to, since I've been at the helm, I've stuck to, I do a lot out of test barrels now, because those are SAMI length
the 24
barrels.
inch. Yeah.
So a good example is if, for the 6mm arc and the 22 arc, we have gas gun data, and that's, you're going to see that out of a 24-inch barrel. We just try to stick with the SAMI length.
Oh, yeah. And that was mostly just for the guys at home listening to this.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
that's
it's important
why we
to know
do it.
you might not hit the velocity that you see in the book.
Yeah.
But, I've got an 18-inch 308. We didn't fire any of data out of an 18 308. I know I'm going to lose some
or
velocity.
20 or 22 or 24.
Exactly.
There's a lot of reasons your velocity will vary.
Sure.
Cross-sectional area of the bore is one of them. Bore and groove diameter, land diameter. The throat geometry is a big one. You cut a bunch of free bore into something, you're going to bleed velocity like a stuck hog.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's a tolerance on everything. So a lot of reasons outside of barrel length that you might see reduced velocity or increased velocity.
Exactly. And that's why, we tell you in the book, these are the max loads in our test barrels with the tightest tolerances.
Yep.
This is it. We don't want to exceed that.
Right.
So your tolerance might be even tighter. So it's just, there's a lot that goes into that book. And before I started working here, I was like, not a big deal. But now working here for 20 years or so, you can see that the amount of work that goes into producing a new manual, an updated manual. It's just a ton.
It is.
You just described.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks see it as, it's got the new powders and some new bullets in there, a couple new cartridges, cool. Well, it does do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went backwards a lot.
Yep.
I was putting data in 6.5, Stayball 6.5. Gosh, I was putting data in for, I don't know how many people are going to be using Stayball 6.5 with a 150 grain bullet and a 300 Win Mag, or whatever the combination was. But we got it.
Yep.
Got it
Hey,
in
don't discount that 150 grain flat base. It
Yeah.
still shoots the best out of my 300 Win
it's
Mag.
simple. When you go to the store and you're buying powder, it's which one's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially right now.
It's
It's getting better, but
It is
still,
getting better.
it's still a lot of which one's there.
I'll tell you which ones aren't there.
Yeah, I can tell you that too.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, I don't have anything else. Is
No,
there
we're
anything you want to leave the listener with about these products or peek into the future?
No, we're excited about it, and trust me, there's going to be a lot more coming. We've got a lot more ideas coming. We've got products that are even launching 2 years from now where we're getting prototypes built. So
Love it.
We're paying attention to what's going on, and we're looking for duct tape.
I love it. Slink, Dylan, Ben,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on the show.
I will add, it's a little odd without Preston by my side to heckle.
Well,
That's true.
there's been no arguments. I can't wait to hear Preston's arguments after we're done
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has them tallied up back there.
Yeah, he's been taking notes. I've been watching. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You bet.
Seth.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to this episode all about our new reloading tools. Obviously, these guys did a phenomenal job designing what we think really enhanced the user experience. Now, if you've got suggestions on some reloading tools that you'd like to see from Hornady, you got to let us know. Drop them in the comments here. Email us podcast@hornady.com. We'd sure appreciate it. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.